The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5 Reunion Part 2 just aired, and we need to talk about it. So smash that like, hit that subscribe, grab a beverage. Hopefully you're wearing something very comfy, and let's get this party started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want, 'cause your heart's made of gold. But don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Stand-up comedian and Bravo superfan Joleen Lunzer here for another roast and recap of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Reunion Part 2. Hello to everyone joining me in the live chat. Feel free to sound off. I want to hear from you guys what you thought about this episode. If you are part of the replay crew and you're watching this later, hello. Please leave a disco ball emoji in the chat to let me know that you're on the replay crew. But if you're here live like Yvonne is, please sound off on all your thoughts, hopes, dreams, and opinions. I am going to be breaking down what happened tonight with a comedic twist, roasting it, recapping it. Remember, I'm very opinionated, but that doesn't mean that you have to have the same opinions. We can just agree to disagree.
That's my opinion!
Just my opinion. Also, everything I say is true except for the parts that are false. Everything is alleged and for entertainment purposes only, aka don't sue me.
Allegedly.
But now we have to get into the rumors and the nastiness of this reunion part 2.
Where's Meredith Marks when I need her?
The rumors, the nastiness, the rumors, the nastiness. You want me to go there with her husband? I can go there. You can leave.
You can leave. What part 2? I thought this was going to be a boring part 2, and it most certainly was not, you guys. It was not boring at all. But we got the husbands. Let's talk about the husbands. The husbands showed up, and we got to, we got to talk about the Todd thing. We got to talk about Justin not standing up for Whitney. I want you guys to sound off and tell me what you think about all of this, because it was, oh boy. Okay, so we come in, and it is going to be the Todd father. The Todd father is very upset with Lisa and the whole situation surrounding Bronwyn's daughter, and whether the grandparents of her now late father knew that she was a fully formed human who was born, or they thought Bronwyn had a miscarriage. And that's kind of been the ongoing debate between the two of them. You know, are the father of Bronwyn's now, I think, almost adult daughter, are his parents lying? Is their family lying to save face, saying that they didn't know that Bronwyn's child was a child and was born? Or is Bronwyn lying? But the Todd father takes issue with Lisa even bringing this up. Lisa Barlow, in her Lisa Barlow way, you know, feels as bad as Lisa Barlow can. We'll just put it like that. She feels as bad as Lisa Barlow can. And Andy says that he thinks that it is very sweet. He likes that the Todd father has Gwen, the daughter, Bronwyn's daughter, that he is looking out for her. And the things people say on the show, and the things that, you know, her late father's family are now allegedly claiming. And Lisa Barlow's just overall messiness in this situation, and also Bronwyn's kind of messiness, because there's a lot, you guys, after watching this season. Bronwyn, like Mary Cosby said in part 2 of the reunion, Bronwyn is a fan favorite, you know, but I think some fans are really starting to turn on Bronwyn, because they're wondering, you know, how much of what Bronwyn says is actually the truth, and how much is she fibbing, you know? And I think that is what we saw tonight, is the fibbing. Or we saw some fibs from Bronwyn in tonight's episode. And then we've seen some fibs with the necklace. Did you buy it? Didn't you buy it? What's the real story? Part 2, I think so too, just Kelly. Part 2 was way better than part 1. However, the one thing that is always an issue is them talking over each other. You know, you have the couch of Heather and Meredith and Lisa, and they were just like, okay, just talking, and they were kind of all talking over each other. And it's not that fun when that is happening. Okay. We have the well, and then see, that's the thing. And then Not Paid by Anyone says you were kind of disappointed with this reunion. Yeah, the fibs from Bronwyn, Not Paid by Anyone, were definitely disappointing. Okay, so the husbands are out there. We have a moment for Justin and John Barlow to right the wrongs against one another from when, you know, John felt like Whitney Rose's husband, whatever. Did I just say his name? I already forgot his name. When he was asking Lisa, or he kind of confronted Lisa, kind of getting in to the lady business. And John Barlow was like, whoa, I know I have the face of a 12-year-old and the body of a grown man, but calm it there. Okay. Justin, that's Justin. Okay. So there's Justin Rose, Whitney's husband, and then John Barlow. And they both had a little laugh together, saying that, you know, maybe it seemed worse than it really was. And maybe they weren't, you know, maybe they felt, you know, when one thought one was aggressive, they thought, I didn't think it was that aggressive. I thought this was aggressive. It was a really dude husband conversation they had in this moment of, you know, talking about, did I hurt your wife's feelings, or did I hurt your wife's feelings? I'm sorry. And Justin just smiled a lot. And John Barlow's like, yeah, sorry. Sorry, we almost fought. So you have them two, you know, kind of making up, I guess. I mean, the husbands, like, let's talk about the husbands. The husbands are always down to quickly make up, it seems like, and apologize to one another, because deep down they very much, they like each other. I mean, I think those two kind of like each other, but unlike, and I feel like they were apologetic to one another. And I mean, what did they go get drinks and then Appies like a day later after their little fights? But then you look at someone like Seth and Meredith's husband, Seth, and I kind of wish that he was a little more, if he could be a little more apologetic when he called Whitney, like, suck it, biatch. You know, here's my freaking receipt, biatch. Hearing Seth say that, well, that's how I talk, and I go up to other guys. If I see John out, I'm going to be like, what's up, biatcha? What's up, bro? It's like the lamest, nerdiest white dude you can think of is really Seth Marks at this point, and I'm just really over it. I'm pretty much over most of the husbands anytime they appear on any of the shows, but I'm definitely over Seth Marks. Receipts, biatch. I feel like he's trying to make a moment for himself, and it's not your show. We're not here to watch you, Big Lots. We're here to watch your wife, okay? Meredith. Now, this was Meredith early in part 2. I thought we were going to be talking about this. Did you weaponize, you know, your son being a part of the LGBTQIA community in order to get out of you being a part of the rumors about Angie K's husband, Shawn, and circle jerks or cheating with men, whatever keeps following him around. And it went on too long. This is the part where I was like, Meredith, shh, we need you to be quiet, Meredith. You got to be quiet because you have to listen. Okay. So again, Monica played a big role because we're doing tons of flashbacks of of when Monica was on the show last season and who actually was the one that started the Shawn is gay rumors and cheating on Angie with men. I think Shawn is not gay. I think the husband, if he is gay, I don't care. If he's a little gay, I don't care. I like him probably more. But I think there's gay men that want him to be gay, but I don't think he's gay. I think it's tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. Very cliche, we know, for the housewives' husbands to be called out as gay. That's like the one thing, like, oh yeah, well, your husband's gay. I'd be like, yeah, he is super gay. The gayest piece of gay that ever gay, and so am I. What are you gonna do about it? And it's always this big thing. Now, Shawn, you could see the frustration on Shawn's face. They talked about this. He's like, golly gee darn, he's a very buff bronco of a man, but he talks kind of like, he's very calm. Golly gee darn, I'm never gonna escape these gay rumors, am I? He's like, I just don't think we should be talking about people's sexuality. And Meredith's like, I didn't. It wasn't me. I didn't say it. And Angie's like, I know, but Monica said you did. She said she, and then we have to go to a flashback of Monica going, well, she. And then when Angie says, what did Monica say? Did Monica say the gay stuff? And then Monica says, oh, no, it wasn't Meredith. So it was just too much. I agreed with Andy. It was much ado about nothing. Why are we still talking about this? And then Shawn went on a podcast. That poor podcaster, that Velvet Rope guy, Andy was just like, wow, that interview sucked. It was very so I'm sure he was like excited to get his podcast released onto Bravo, like, woo, look at me, Velvet Rope. Apologies, I don't know the guy's name, but look at me, I'm on Bravo. And Andy's like, let's play the clip. Well, it sounds like that guy's interview sucked. It was very leading, the question. When Shawn was talking about Meredith knowing what she's doing and leveraging, we had to talk about the definition of leveraging. Meredith's like, okay, for my family, I just need you guys. Does anybody here know the definition of leverage? Because I do, because I'm a lawyer. But I did feel a little bad for that guy. I mean, still cool that his podcast is on there, and I'm sure he'll get some traction out of it. But Andy was just, he was just like, those questions were leading. That's shitty. And then Heather gets to stand on her soapbox of, see, we shouldn't let anybody get in between our group. No bloggers, no podcasters. They're all evil, and you should be ashamed if you have their phone number. Heather was just, I told you, you can't trust any of these people. So this has been another season where they thought they were leaving the bloggers and the Monica situation behind of the reality Von Teese, but really it just followed them with other bloggers and other things. Thank you, Chickenhead PK Dorkface Neely, for the first super chat of the live. Chickenhead says, why does every housewife have to have a gay husband? You know what? I don't know. I just say everybody's a little gay. But it really is a tired ass storyline, narrative, accusation. And you can just see it on Shawn. He's like, can a guy lift weights, be in good shape like a gay man, and just prefer a little vagina? When did it turn into, if you don't have a dad bod, you're S&D? I have a wife here. So poor Shawn is like, I'm never going to, get away from this. And just like my husband, who's in the chat right here, shout out to Hype Man Husband Chell. I'm a little gay for my wife. My husband is so gay for me. It's crazy. We are like both gay for each other. We're so gay. Can you tell me the meaning of guy? Okay. So then Meredith gets up and she's like, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I think I have a fur coat somewhere here that can be used. Oh, it's the infamous Denise Richards fur coat. Meredith's like, okay, wait, this is going to have to be a standing one, you guys. We're going to have to do a standing one. This was too much. Smash that like while I get my standing desk ready, because we're going to need some act outs.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. You're welcome. Meredith's like, no, I'm leaving. Unless I was told that I would have. Okay. We need a wig. You guys, this was just. I'm leaving, Seth. I'm leaving. I was told I would be cleared at the reunion for my family. I'm not gonna do this. I'm leaving. And you're like, just go, Meredith. At this point, and Andy's like, are we really doing this? Is this really what we're doing? Is this really what the fight's over? Yes, Andy, it's what the fight's over. Yes, it is what the fight's over. Because I did not leverage my son's gayness to go after Shawn for circle jerking. I'm not going to stand for this until they show you the tape. And then here comes production. They're like, Angie's actually correct. Yeah, she Monica did at first say she as in you. And then the second time she talked about it last season, she then said it wasn't you. So Angie, no. I feel like Angie has a mean girl vendetta against me. It's a mean girl vendetta. And I'm lying. And then Seth has to get up and he's like, sit down, biatch. And I'm just like, Meredith, please, Meredith, just shut up. To the point where Andy finally has to be like, Meredith, I agree with you. I'm saying you didn't start the rumor. Okay? You didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. All right? You just listen. Okay, Andy. If that's all, you think this is a waste of time, Andy? Is that what you're telling me, that it's a waste of time? Well, I don't think it is. I was very upset that nobody seems to know the definition of leveraging. And I'm leaving, Seth. I'll see you at Big Lots. I'm leaving. So then we have to, go through that of Meredith, just like, okay, you're leaving. Goodbye. See you never. And then, spoiler alert, she ends up staying. And I'm just like, Meredith, that was a lot. And I was trying to pay attention to what everyone's saying, but then you have Lisa going, you guys really, it wasn't right what you're doing to me. Yeah. And then Heather, I told you guys, don't listen to any outsiders. Don't let the outsiders in. We can't have outsiders.
Hi, I just want to say,
shit, you scared the crap out of me.
I'm not cheating. These are my girlfriends. Both of these are my girlfriends. I'm not cheating.
What are their names?
This is L for Linda and J for Joleen.
You named them. Who the fuck is Linda, you cheater?
Oh, shit.
Who the fuck is Linda? Get out of here.
I just like working out.
You're cheating, bitch.
Oh, my face.
That was, Chell, you have to admit, that was the worst.
What?
For a guy to go, when they asked Seth if he had another lady in Ohio, he's like, do you have a size? And he did the hands. I got this one and this one.
Yeah. I have to go work out now.
Don't get too buff, otherwise you're gay.
Oh, okay.
Don't be
Can I look
buff
at
gay.
Shirtless guys while I work out?
But don't get, you can look at, wait, is that gay? Somebody put it in the chat.
Oh my God.
Is it gay if my husband looks at
What
shirtless
if I wear
men?
a rainbow tank top? Can I do that while I work out?
Well, we do live near Palm Springs, so I think that's okay.
There's a workout parade in downtown Palm Springs. A bunch of guys are going to be there.
A workout parade in
It's a
downtown
bunch of guys
Palm
showing off their
Springs.
physiques.
Okay.
Can I go?
Okay, but don't do gay stuff.
I won't. I just got my new.
You can't circle jerk.
Oh, that's okay. We square jerk. We stand in a square.
You guys, is square jerking gay?
Yeah, square jerk. It's like a cowboy thing, like square dancing, but we square.
Oh,
jerk.
like, don't tell my heart,
jerk.
my circle jerking heart.
Jerk, jerk.
I just don't think you'll understand.
Jerk, jerk.
Okay, yeah, that sounds
Okay,
about right.
okay.
All right.
I'm gonna go square jerk now.
I love it. I love a big gay husband. Okay, but the palm thing. Can we talk about the palm thing? Now I'm just looking at Seth's palms and thinking like, there's jizz on there. Like I can't. That I don't want. You don't want to touch him. You don't want to shake hands with him. And this is like a businessman. Can you imagine a woman doing that and being like, I don't cheat on my husband. I got these. You would not be taken seriously. But there's Seth just shutting down Big Lots, going, here's my girlfriend, and here's my girlfriend. And then Lisa Barlow says, and I didn't even know what circle jerk was till like a couple days before I said, or like a week before I said that. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know what it was. So, I mean, I think with the Meredith situation, it's pretty clear, as much as her and Seth, hello, producer. Hi, producer Princeton. I think it's pretty clear that it's Meredith, you're not happy. And I'm just going to say it. You're not happy with Seth. It's okay. I wouldn't be happy with him either. And it's a lot of projection. You don't look happy. You don't seem happy. You're getting upset about weird stuff. You're like, who is listening to me? Is there listening devices in my hotel room? What's going on for my family? And she's just making a big deal out of things that don't necessarily need to be made a big deal. And I think it's a lot to do with how unhappy she is with Seth. And I don't blame her. Like, he is Trey annoying. If that was my husband, I'd be like, ugh. Just thinking he's funny and saying the biatch. And then, you guys, I mean, just with Meredith going, a lot of things were said. We can need the Meredith. Prince, you're going to have to be my sop here. Okay. A lot of things were said about me this season. Okay. I've written them down. Yes, Whitney, I've written them down. Okay. Because they happened. I wrote them down right before. No, I don't write them down after every episode. I wait till the next day for the Peacock longer version. All right. Okay. I've been told I'm a drug addict, a cheater, homeless. Who called her homeless? Is it because they said she rents? That's not homeless. Mentally unstable, next level psychotic disassociation. What? I don't remember that one. Multiple personality disorder. A snitch and a liar. People talked about my hearing aids. What? What'd you say? That's right. Don't talk about them. And they've been made fun of. I've been insulted as a mother in my bathtub for my family. You said I'm a grudge holder, a whore, and I've always played the victim. I wrote all that down right there. What do you got to say for that? Oh, Meredith. We have to get you out of those mother of the bride dresses, and we have to get you out of that marriage with Seth. I know who said these things. Right, Yvonne? She's like, and someone said I had dissociative personality disorder because I'm a compulsive liar. What? When did that ever happen? I'm going to need receipts on that one.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, everything.
I was like, I don't really remember that. But I could have missed it. But Meredith wrote it down for her family. She said, oh, no, it did happen. Okay. All right. We have to talk about Bronwyn. Okay. So the Todd father, it's his first reunion. Okay. Todd father is there. And they're like, let's talk about the emotional affair. And Bronwyn's like, yes, let's, no, I did say that. We had an emotion. Yeah, it did. Yeah. Yes, we had. And Todd had, yeah, it was emotional. And Heather's like, what? Don't play it down, Bronwyn. You had us all going. You were crying. You said you were betrayed. You couldn't trust him anymore. Well, I thought that Todd, did he cheat or did he not cheat? Well, there was a woman that he might have been, he messaged with. And I felt that he, it was inappropriate. It's something I wouldn't do. I wouldn't talk to someone like that. It was emotion. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And then Seth, of course, it was an emotional affair, biatch. And she's like, yes. It It was an emotion. It was an emotional. Yeah. It was an emotional. And Todd's back there like, I mean, it could be maybe he had low blood sugar. He needed a snack. I don't know, but he was like, I did. Like it seemed like it was news to Todd that he had this emotional affair. It was news. She was like, yeah. Well, I felt that Todd had he had I had a conversation with a woman, and I wouldn't have. They were talking about things, business or something. And, he asked her, he's going to be traveling to New York, which he does, which he's very happy he does. And yeah, Gwen found the conversation and she asked, what's the temperature in New York? And Todd replied, it's a bit nipply. And I thought, well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay, Todd. You're fine. You're good. You're good. And then Todd's in the back. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. But he's just looking at her. It's either he did and she's like trying to protect him and it's worse than it was. And he's still that weird daddy figure who tells her, don't say this and you can't say, see you next Tuesday. Or she made it up. And now she's like, Todd, you have to go with me on this, okay? If you don't, I'll get another dog. I'll get another dog. She's like, you're good. You're good. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Weird. And not like fun Aquarius weird, like weird. So she talks about this when she's on the boat telling the ladies, she's like, I just want to be completely vulnerable with you guys. And Todd, yeah, he was unfaithful and it was really difficult. And I just never felt good enough. And they're like, oh my God, what? Like, what happened? What did he say? Well, he said that, Cordelia, oh, Jesus, the cat. Are you okay? She didn't make the desk, but she did make an impression in my arm. So shout out to producer Cordy, still in training. Okay. Well, what did he say? Well, he said that he is, always wanting the new next best thing. He's used to making big business deals. So he is always going to want that in his personality. Yeah. So that he always wants bigger, better, the bigger the sweater, or no, the bigger, the better, the tighter the sweater. So yeah. And I have a solid B cup, but Todd talked to a lady with a solid D cup. So yeah, that's, you're good. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Todd, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. It was an emotional affair. It was an email. It was half an email. It was a automated response from his office. I found it to be a little too personal. Yeah. So, yeah. But we're through it. We're fine. You're fine. You're good. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, but that was weird, right? You had 2 different people with or without Todd. You're 100% right, Angela. It was weird. Pamela. Enjoy work, Pamela. HC says, my hair is everywhere now. Your hair, it's everywhere. Okay. HC says, anything can be a business, horizontal business, naked business, just to be out. True. Yeah, it was a lot, it's if someone asks you what the weather is in New York and you're married, you shouldn't reply saying it's a bit nipply. I didn't. Todd does have very sharp, pointy nipples. And when it's cold, they do become erect. Okay. But I just thought that was a joke for us and not for the entire world or some other lady. But yeah. And Heather's just like, this is why I can't mess with you. This is why I haven't trusted you, because you made it to be this thing that it's clearly not. And Brown's like, no, I was vulnerable with you ladies, and being in that situation, I just didn't feel good enough. And it triggered me back to the time when Todd told a coworker that it was a bit nipply out, and that was the emotional affair. And I didn't feel good enough, as a single mom, as a single dog owner, as a woman over 40 with a bob, as someone who wears costumes to the airport. Sometimes I just don't feel that as someone who's been attacked by a dog, I feel, not enough. And it really triggered me not feeling enough. So, oh, Jesus. Did he write messages? I love you, baby. Oh, I can only talk to you. I can't talk to Bronwyn. Where was the Amal? You're good. The weirdest part, though, is when she turned back to Todd and she's like, you're okay. And he's like, yeah. They're both weird. I thought it was just Todd. I think it's both of them. It's like, what? Huh? And I might have to say that Miss Heather, I was hard on Heather early on. I feel like Bronwyn, I was really hard on Heather. I was very hard, okay? But maybe she was right all along. I still am not completely like, oh, Heather, you're the greatest anymore. But maybe she was right to have these weird feelings towards Bronwyn. At first, I'm like, what? You're being strange, Heather. What? Just this chick clearly wants to be your friend. But then we see all these discrepancies in what Bronwyn says and what she does. I'm just like, what is going on, lady? I feel like she came into this show, now the more I think about it, with an agenda, wanting to be a fan favorite, wanting to be that housewife that is vulnerable and shares, like Mary Cosby said. That's why she's a fan favorite. Yeah, because she opens up, she shares. Meredith doesn't share. Lisa doesn't share. Meredith shares a little. Okay. Lisa, no. She just shares her tequila. Yeah. And Diet Cokes and bosses John around, but not really sharing. And I think that she could have been that if it was genuine, but you gotta probably like tell the truth about what's going on at your house. Because I don't know what is happening between that. Yeah. And Todd does not build up his wife. It was so frustrating to see Seth, question about Seth, do you have another lady friend? People think you might have a, secret chick on the side in Ohio. And Seth's like, no. And then Meredith says, well, contrary, we gotta get our Meredith. Meredith's like, contrary to what these women will say, okay? Because I heard you when Bronwyn was upset after she told us about this affair or whatever, the email, whatever happened, the emotional affair with Todd. Apparently, you guys said that Lisa and I couldn't relate because we're cheaters. So contrary to what everyone thinks, Seth and I are in a monogamous relationship. I do not take sleeping pills unless I'm doing like an overnight flight, very far, international. If I go on an international flight, then maybe I'll take a sleeping pill. But otherwise, I don't know it. Seth and I are very monogamous. And then Seth is back there like, yeah, no, it's great. Because it's like, okay, so like, I'm like 55, right? But okay, I still have bro logic. It's great because like, I'm always in Ohio, okay? And you can't spell Ohio without ho. So there's like other women there, but like only these two. Anyways. So I only see Meredith like once a week on the weekend. So it's like we're dating. It's hot. And I'm like, okay, shorty, want to be a thug? No. Being married to this man this long, having children with him who are now grown, and he's out here going, it's great because I only got to see her. That's the secret, guys. You don't only want to see your bitch. Get out right now. It's the end of you and me. Get your size 7 shoes and leave. Seth, I'm not doing this. I hated it. And then Todd is like, I agree with, he's all crabby. He's like, I agree with Seth, how he said that they work in different cities. So do I. I'm in New York, so I don't see Bronwyn a lot. And it's awesome. And I love it. And they're like, way to go, Todd. And then did you notice when the guys fist bumped Todd, he became a lizard person? All of a sudden, he was so excited. I think that was his first fist bump in his life, allegedly. And he went, like, rewind the tape, watch his little lizard tongue come out when he fist bumps. I don't know if it was with Justin or who was directly behind him. Doesn't matter. Oh, probably Shawn. Hottie, circle jerking. And the fist bump, his tongue comes out like, and I was like, I had to rewind it. I wanted to punch myself when I saw like these men have Arrested Development. I feel like the only husband who maybe doesn't have Arrested Development is probably Shawn. Yeah. There's times when John Barlow, I'm like, he's good, but I don't know. I don't know, you guys. Kylie says an affair is a weird thing to make up, especially if you're trying to prove the marriage is legit. Yeah. Unless she's trying to prove Todd pulls bitch. I don't know. I don't know. Just I'll get this. I was called homeless. This homeless woman off my screen. It's actually it's called unhoused now. It's very insulting. Yes, witness my wife, but I barely see her at all. Like leave, get out. And I was so happy when they questioned Justin about why he didn't stick up for Whitney. I was so happy about that because I told Jill he was kind of watching it while doing homework and weighing in on stuff, like the two-handed Seth's other women. But if some dork like Seth yelled out at me at a dinner party and was like, receipts, biatch, and pushed his phone in my face, my husband is very nonviolent and very nice, a nice gentleman, you know, nicer than me in a lot of ways. I would hope he'd be like, check yourself. No, maybe don't do this because that might look weird, but say something. But Justin's just like, he's all smiles as Andy is saying, you know, why didn't you say anything? And he's like, I just got my teeth whitened. Like, I can't with Justin. I really feel like he should have said something, but he's like, I meditated in the morning. Me and Seth had a joint jack off. He went in his room, I went in mine, and we text each other. And we're like, are you doing it? I'm doing it. Okay. And then I promised myself I wouldn't get in any drama. So if someone calls my wife a bitch, maybe I will, but not a biatch. That's fun. It's just the nerdiest white men you've ever met in your life. And I can only say that because I think they're all white men, but just so nerd. And look at Whitney's face when this is being talked about. And Justin's like, that's Seth. He's funny, right? Just saying biatch. That's cool. I've been practicing with him how to say it. Biatch. No. Oh my gosh, you guys. So the Bronwyn affair thing, strange, weird. It was made such a big deal. And then Todd is there and she's like, it's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay, baby. It's okay. You okay, baby. And then Justin is like, yeah, maybe I should have stuck up for my wife, but I just told myself that I was going to stay out of drama. And you're like, oh my God. Whitney has her ovaries are far more powerful than Justin's balls. Clearly, Meredith and Seth just continued to prove to me that their marriage is there's problems. She's like, tell me one person that has been married for decades that's going to be like, it's all great, right, Seth? And Seth is like, I mean, like, probably like 51% of the time, it's okay. It's the best when I'm away from her. Oh, Meredith, you deserve better. You deserve so much better than whatever Seth is laying down. And I think, which probably isn't much. Yeah, but this couch was, they were definitely on one. The second part of this reunion. Let me jump in the comments and see what you guys are saying. Lexi says, I don't believe Todd gave Bronwyn a ring with 5 diamonds. Oh my God, I almost forgot about that part. Thank you guys. That was cringe too. Because Todd's like, yeah, well, I guess. Because Andy's like, how do you feel about, this? Well, I mean, yeah, that may or may not have happened. Yeah. But Bronwyn's like, but he did give me a 5 diamond ring for our 5-year vow with 5 new vows to kind of make it up for me that he had an emotional affair with that lady. So yeah, he did the 5. It was really lovely. It was very big diamonds. Yeah, just like the biggest you've ever seen. And then Andy's like, can I? And I love that Andy asked that. He's like, Todd, can I bother you to tell me what the vows, the 5 new vows were. And he's like, yeah, fidelity, angry toddy, take care of kids too, pretty good, Todd, you're doing it. Be less grouchy. No, not some. Okay, that wasn't one. Hard boners. Nope. And he forgot. I think he got 4 out of 5. He didn't look happy saying them. And then Braun and trust, or I don't even remember what they are. If Todd can't remember, I definitely don't have to remember what they were. Because Todd did not remember. HC, yes. HC says, I wouldn't be able to communicate with Seth. How does he even have a job? I don't know. You guys, 124 watching, hit that like. Let's at least get 100 likes on this baby. It might have been a ring pop, but it was a push pop. Push a push pop. Push it for flavor. Push a push pop. Save some for later. But he couldn't remember. Oh yeah, sorry. And then she's like, and transparency. Yeah, if you're gonna be messaging ladies you do business with and telling them it's nipply outside, you have to tell me about it. Yeah, you're okay, you're fine, you're good, baby, you're good. Todd's like, transparency. Yep, transparency. That's what it is. The third one, transparency. I love Bronwyn, kind of. She worked in San Francisco. I work in New York. She said, I prefer her not to share things about our life with the world. But I guess we're on this show, right? Okay. Okay. Am I done? All right. Oh, that you guys go back, rewatch that part, and put it in the chat that you saw it, or the comment section after the video posts. After this post, go back and watch when the guys leave the stage and they give the Todd father a pound, a good old pound puppy. He was feeling like freaking Nate Dogg. Like he was just like, he had this tongue go. He pounded and went, look, watch his tongue. And please tell me you saw that. And that wasn't just a figment of my imagination. HC says, transparency. He just put glass on his office door. I have to see everything. His company's going bankrupt, though. Is that Seth? Or is it Todd's? Because Seth was the Big Lots guy. And they're not doing well. No. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, he was feeling himself. He was like, Todd, Dog, and Warren G need to regulate. He's very, very excited. So finally, the men leave. Thank God. We did get a discussion from Mary Cosby about, obviously, the most important storyline of the season and for Mary's life is Robert Jr. and his battle with addiction. Mary told us that Robert Jr. went to rehab for 30 days. She talked about them having the conversation beforehand. She says, we didn't prepare what we were going to say, but we knew that I was going to ask him about what's really going on, what he's really doing, and hopefully we could help people. And then when Andy says, is it better? How's it going? She said, it's going okay. It's so fragile, like much like the egos of the house husbands on the show. Sobriety is very fragile. And when Mary said he goes to those classes, I'm like, oh, those are meetings, AA meetings. And it's a whole new journey. And I wish the best for Mary. I wish the best for Robert Jr. It's just so incredibly sad to see him struggling this much and to watch it. And the women, talked about the important conversations they were able to have with their kids because of Robert Jr.'s honesty and transparency about his own addiction. It's just such a rough road because he is so young, and sobriety really is a journey. And it's not a destination. It's an everyday thing that you have to be an active participant in if you want to stay sober. So my heart just goes out to him because it is not easy. It's worth it. It's wonderful. It's beautiful on the other side, but it's a beast. It really is a beast. So I hope that Mary does look into more resources, more things she can do to not only help herself, but to benefit to benefit the whole situation and understanding Robert Jr.'s journey. So I would definitely be like, Mary, Al-Anon is your friend. Go there, get the support, and because there's just so much, and it really does take a family, a village. Because Andy said, they say you have to want it, and Mary's like, yeah, that is true. You have to. The person getting sober has to want it, but I do think the people around them, as a sober person now myself for many years, it helps so much when the people around you educate themselves on it as well. And that's why things like Al-Anon are amazing. So everyone is just crying at this situation. We see again the beauty in Angie and Mary's friendship and relationship. Andy himself starts crying, and he's like, when Robert said that he was a stain, that must have, killed you as a mother. And I'm thinking, okay, well, talk about leading questions. Maybe you could have left that one. I mean, it was very moving. I don't know if we've ever seen Andy cry ever or at a reunion. So it was nice to just see all the women, Whitney, to see how far Whitney and Mary have come, and to see Whitney and Heather talk about the conversations they were able to have with their family. I mean, even Lisa Barlow, they're all like, Mary, you're a good mother. Because I think the most important thing Angie K said to Mary as a friend is that it's not a failure in you as a mother. This literally addiction hits, unfortunately, pretty much more people than you think. I don't want to say like every family, but I guarantee there is no one in this chat right now who hasn't been touched in some way, either friends or family, whether close or distant relatives, by addiction, or themselves by addiction. It is just a disease that doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care what color you are, how much money you make, how old you are. It just doesn't discriminate, and it can hit, it can happen to anybody. And so I like that Angie K said that, because I think as a parent, you would, I can only imagine you would, because you want the best for your kids. No one wants their child to have to battle in addiction. And you do think like, what could I have done? And, it's important to hear from people that it literally can happen to anyone. There are things that, there are, like, I guess for lack of, not reasons, but sort of, sometimes it's behavior that's, patterns of behavior that's repeating itself within families. Sometimes it is genetics. Sometimes it's just some people are more prone to be addicted to certain substances than not. Sometimes it's the substance themselves. It's the whole thing. So I really thought that was beautiful. And then it was even more beautiful when Angie said that no one had ever told her, because I've been wondering, because I've only seen the old Mary Cosby. We've never seen this side of Mary Cosby. And so it's so new that throughout the show this season, when Angie talks about how close and how wonderful she feels about Mary and how important Mary is, I'm like, Mary Cosby? Oh, this person looks inbred, Mary Cosby. But it is definitely, we just haven't seen that side of Mary Cosby. And I think there's, when you go through something like this within your family and your child battling this, there is a sense of like humility, humbleness, just all these things come over you. And it can be just what Mary said, is she feels like she never really had a friend on this show, so she didn't feel confident opening up. And she's dealing with her own childhood trauma from her parents and a dad who basically walked out and was like, you're a problem. I don't love you. And facing that kind of rejection as a child from the people that make you is a trauma that I don't know how people recover from. I know you can, and I know people who have, but that is a deep scar and a deep wound. So to hear that Mary told Angie about her mother, she said, Angie, I know that if your mother could come back and she could do it over and she could get sober for you, she would. And I thought that was really beautiful because when you're the child of addicts or alcoholism, or there's a lot of stuff you live with and you carry every day, and there's a lot of blame, you know, or I shouldn't say blame. Well, there's blame, but there's a lot of guilt. It's crazy the guilt that children can carry. And so having, anger, all those things. And so having someone she respects, a friend like Mary, tell her that, and her saying, this is the first time anyone has ever said that to me. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy that no one has ever said that to you before. But it's beautiful that Mary knew. It's like they both knew the things to say to each other, which aren't lies at all. It's not like they're just saying things to make each other feel better, but they're really saying maybe the things to each other that they themselves can't say to themselves because they can't see past the pain. They can't see past, wanting to blame themselves or the anger or the guilt they carry and the sadness. And it's just so heavy. But to watch these two have this amazing friendship and be there for each other, it's like, this is what we need. We need more friendships like this, just seeing them be able to get through that argument they had in Mexico when Angie ran after Brittany's ass. And Mary's like, that's it. You're dead to me because I've trusted people. I trust very few people. I let you in. I love you. Why would you go and comfort someone who's shitting on me? You're just going to shit on me, thus continuing the pattern that Mary believes she's seen throughout her life, the only thing she knows. So it was just so beautiful to see this friendship. It really is. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. It was beautiful of Mary. It's beautiful because sometimes with your girlfriends and your friendships, you do take on sisterly roles, friend roles, sometimes even motherly roles at time, and just reminding each other. That's what you're supposed to do with these great friendships you have in other women. You're supposed to build each other up. When the world wants to tear you down, take away your rights, tell you ain't shit, hold you back, pin you up against each other, try to make you compete with each other. It's great to have actual girlfriends that want to see you succeed. That's how it should be, that want to see you well, that want the best for you, that see the best in you. When Mary thinks she's down and out and, why didn't I see this? It's in my house. What kind of mother am I? She has Angie there going, he's so lucky to have a mother like you. Look how open you were to the conversation. And so it was just really beautiful. And then when Angie is down and, really wanting to give her daughter the mother-daughter relationship she never got because it was stolen away from her by, her mother's addiction, Mary reassures her that it's not because she didn't love you. It's not because you weren't good enough to get sober for. If she would, she could. She would. If she could have, she would have. But it's so much more than that. So it was really beautiful. Like HC saying, Angie and Mary are actually, yes, friending. It's almost like I don't recognize that on the show. I'm so used to, seeing Heather's, the way that Whitney is treated by Heather, when clearly Whitney wants a relationship and I think Whitney wants this Angie Mary relationship with Heather, and Heather just won't give it to her because unfortunately, I think Heather doesn't think Whitney is worthy of it. I think Heather has always wanted to be in the cool girl group. She felt like after being in this marriage, maybe after gaining weight, she wasn't as good as the other chicks. She just feels like she can kind of kick Whitney, and that's what she does. That's what I see in Heather now. She wants to be at the mean girls table. And it sucks because she was that housewife that I think a lot of us early on, her first couple seasons, we were like, we love her because she's real. And then we're like, oh no, she's not. Yeah, Heather wants Lisa, and Lisa doesn't want Heather. Lisa, that's not going to be Lisa's best friend. Lisa's going to assemble her army, but she doesn't care about Heather like that. So it's really beautiful. Unfortunately, the beauty of their friendship, I mean, I know, yeah, Heather just really, this is compared to Mary and Angie on one side of the couch. Then you look at these two and you're like, oh, okay, there's definitely a difference. And Mary just being so open and loving, going, I don't think you've ever seen this side of me before, Andy, because I never had a really good friend. And Angie is like a really freaking good friend to me. And she makes me feel like strong enough and I can do this. And those, if you have those kind of like beautiful relationships or friendships in your life, like hold on to them so tight because they're amazing in a world where, you know, we're constantly entertained or, you know, kind of told like, yeah, talk shit, no big deal. If you have that person that's like, no, I don't want it. I love this person. I want the best one. I don't want to talk shit on them. I want them to be good. Hold on to that. So Mary's like, I have that. Meanwhile, everyone's crying over the Mary situation with Robert Jr. and her friendship with Angie and Meredith. She's the only one that I don't know if she took a Xanny or something, or if it was an international flight. So she had, hi, Prince. So she had a sleeping pill, allegedly, obviously, for jokes. But she is like no emotions, does not emote. I guess this is kind of an emotion, like, She looks bored through the conversations, but you can tell once it is brought up how close Mary and Angie are. And once Mary says that Angie kind of changed the game for her and made her be more open on the show, Meredith's like, oh, what am I, chop liver? Okay. And Andy's like, okay, let me read a tweet here. Brett from Brooklyn said, Meredith's just jealous because Mary likes Angie more. And Meredith's like, oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Well, you can think that, Brett from Brooklyn, but it's not true. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. But I was there for Meredith, or not for Meredith. I am Meredith. I was there for Mary. And Andy asks Mary, you know, he's like, well, what Meredith, she was a good friend for you. And Mary's like, and then it's so tense and so quiet that we have to go to a commercial break before we come back. And Mary goes, yeah, yes, Meredith is a wonderful person, but she's busy. She's traveling. Meredith's like, yes, I am. But she was there for me. Yeah. And she checked in on me, which meant the world. And she sent this text, and then they pop up the text. She's like, my family's been through it too. Feel free to reach out. My nephew. If you need to talk, we could talk. Mary's like, yes, yeah, I was there for her. Thank you for saying that, because I was there. And then they hug. And Mary goes, oh, God, Meredith, did you get a boob job? Did you have less tits on your chest? And she's like, yes, that's true. I got. Andy's like, don't you remember? She was in bed. Heather came over. We had a scene about it. Mary's like, sorry, no. Yes, I did. I got my tots reduced. I got less saline in my chest. So just looking over at Meredith, Mary is describing her undying love for Angie. And Angie changed my life. And Angie opened me up. It's kind of like being the ex who, you know, feels like you put all the time into that friendship and then, or into that relationship. And then the new girlfriend or new wife, they're just like, she's amazing. She opened me up to worlds I could never get to before. And the orgasms and the conversation. I mean, amazing. But you were good too. And Meredith's like, it just makes me feel like I was used. And Meredith's like, I'm sorry, what could I have used you for? I need you to probably take that. At the time, Mary, I feel like that's how I felt at the time. You know, she wanted to say, because no one else was fucking with you like that. You weren't showing up to reunions. I would stay home for you. I will walk off this set. I'm leaving. I'm going south. Grab your Big Lots badge. We're going back to Ohio. I'm leaving south. I'm not doing this anymore, Andy. So it was very interesting. Meredith, it was a rough night for Meredith. You know, she basically was told Angie K is way better than you by Mary. And then her husband said he doesn't see her very much. Meredith, you deserve better. You deserve better. I get why you are unhappy and why you looked unhappy this reunion, because yeah, that's rough. But they did end with a little hug. And obviously Meredith, like we talked about earlier, listing out all of the names that people have called her. And next week, we will see the conclusion of all of this. We will find out the final part of part 3 of the reunion, and Brittany will join, and she'll tell us about how Jared Osmond called Bronwyn a bitch and said that he's a bigger man in his pantalones and his dockers than she's ever seen. So yeah, what an episode, you guys. What a part 2. It definitely wasn't. I was expecting it to be stinky. I was expecting it not to be as good as it was. Lexi said there's nothing left to see though. Well, there's Brittany. Okay, there's Brittany, bitch. She'll be like, Brittany, bitch. And so we're gonna have a lot of Brittany. We'll have a lot of Care Bear says Ding Pepper. We got a lot of that to go over next week. But yeah. And then Mary did say to Angie, you got to get it right with Meredith because I love her. I love her. Meredith's like, yeah, okay, yes, but she has a mean girl grudge against me. R says confusion. If Mary was mad about Angie running after Britt, how is Mary being nice to Meredith? Okay. I think Mary probably differentiates it because her and Meredith had a friendship before. And so she's like, I can't just throw away Meredith the way you can throw away Brittany because you don't even know that chick. She just got here. Okay, but I've known Meredith and been friends with her longer than I've been friends with you, Angie. So I think that's probably what she would say. HC says, I wish Meredith ran off the set Tamara Judge style, but I've never seen Meredith run or even speed walk. I don't think I've seen that either. I don't think she has. Haru says, what about the lady we saw once? I don't even know her name. There was supposed to be another friend of or possible housewife who was friends with Whitney, and she was very pretty, and she showed up for half an episode, and then they were like, big on thoughts. She just, I guess Brittany overshadowed her. I don't even remember her name, you guys, but I do feel bad for that lady. And some high body count hair. I got some high body count hair right now. So, Angela says, is there a part 3 or what? No, there's a part 3 because we got to talk to Brittany and we got to talk about Jared. Yeah, Meredith was, like Lumen saying, tired of Meredith. She was pretty insufferable. I will say though, I do think it's a lot of things, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she's genuinely unhappy. I mean, imagine having to go home to Seth on the weekends. I mean, the things she gets mad about. They said I was renting my house. And Andy's like, but don't you rent? Yeah, yes, Andy, I rent. Okay. But I only live in Utah part of the season. Okay. Part of the year. Ski season, Andy. And then otherwise, I live other places. But they said it in a way about me and my family where it was clearly a dig. Do you know the definition of dig, Andy? When you dig into someone? Because that's what they were doing. Oh, Meredith. I think she really wanted to make her problems the reunion, but they're jokes at this point because they're not serious. Like those aren't real problems. Just like Andy said, I actually agreed with him. Like that was a waste of time. Us talking about this situation of, did you leverage your son's, being gay to get out of the fact that you were like, let's talk about the husbands? Oh, goodness. Irrelevant Photon says, I think Meredith is struggling with her hearing problem. Well, she did say, well, even Bronwyn brought up the hearing aids. I'm like, oh shit. She said, Meredith, turn down your hearing aids when Seth is saying that he has 2 girlfriends as hands and he's jerking off all the time. Turn down your hearing aids. I'm like, oh my God. Have we learned nothing? You can't. Angie K said, borrow Meredith's hearing aids. And Meredith was like, how dare you? How dare you? But yeah, there could be that just adding on to another one of the issues that she had. So HC says Lisa Barlow's commercial. Crunch is for French fries, not for hair. She bites a fry. That's pretty awesome. That is pretty amazing. Yes, Catherine says, I was waiting for someone to say, Meredith, you can leave. I'm surprised people haven't used that against her. Now that iconic line of, you can leave.
You can leave.
Because she wanted to leave. She definitely wanted to leave, obviously. She's like, I'm leaving. Angela says, I'm sure she had audio Bluetooth to her hearing aids. It's amazing what they can do these days. Well, hopefully. Haru says, Brittany, why did you record the conversation? Do you think you're slick? Lexi says, true, your voice can change when your hearing is compromised. Yeah, I don't know. I just really I like the way Meredith talks. It's just so fun. She's like, me and my family. I love it. But hopefully she's not struggling too much with hearing, because I don't want that for anybody. But so, all right, you guys, that is that about that. That is our roast and recap of Reunion Salt Lake City season 5 reunion part 2. And sometimes part 2s are real snoozers, and this one I didn't think was, but sound off in the chat, and also sound off in the comment section after the video post, and let me know if this was, rate this reunion 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, what you thought it was. Shout out to Chickenhead PK Neely. Thank you so much for the super chat. Shout out to everyone who joined me in the live chat, and all of my members here on YouTube and Patreon supporters. You guys are beautiful, wonderful pumpkin spice babies.
You're lying. No, I'm not lying.
I'm not lying. That's what your sister does, allegedly.
Nothing happened. You did it.
Happened. You did it. You guys did it. You're amazing. Smash that like. Keep the likes going up. It's a wonderful free way to support the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share me with your friends. And I'll be back tomorrow at 11:30 Pacific for another No Offense, All Offense, where we break down pop culture, news, reality TV, all kinds of things. But until then, you guys, remember to enjoy yourself, because it's later than you think. Bye.